Hi friends, I'm super. Welcome to Gents. How you doing today? Huh? That's right, we're talking masculine fragrances today because you read the title of the video, right? A little while back, I asked you guys on the community tab of the YouTube channel, as I do from time to time, what do you feel like is the most masculine fragrance that you can buy right now? Dang it. Anyway, I asked you what is the most masculine designer fragrance that you can buy currently on the market, and I got your answers right here. So that's what we're talking, masculine fragrances. What do you think is a masculine fragrance? What makes a masculine fragrance? Well, we're gonna find that out. I wanna shout out every single one of you guys that left your answer and everybody that upvoted other people's. If you wanna be in a future video, check out the community tab where there is another question on there that you can take part in. Yeah. Each one of these fragrances I'm gonna talk about here today is linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. Also feel free to check out these codes. Did you check them out? Okay, good. You can use those codes if you so desire to shop at any of those websites that the codes are good at. All right, let's do it. First up, we've got Nico Hessbrook, who says, ah! You know what I'm going for? You know it? Dior Noir. Some people hate it. Some people hate it. Who out there hates this? Show yourselves. Tell you what, this is a good test. You know how like there could be aliens among us, like in the movie They Live, or reptilians or something like that. Here's a test. This is 100% certain to work. Get yourself a bottle of Dior Noir. Carry around some tester strips, you know, just to be safe. Do one of those, ask them to smell it. If they say anything other than, oh, that's awesome, either alien or reptilian. This is just science. I'm just the bearer of this science, delivered onto you. Anyway, some people hate it, but it's great, and it definitely has its place on the Mount Rushmore fragrances. Obviously, you're a human. It's good. So Dior Noir, masculine, of course. Of course. Yeah, it made me very happy when I pulled up the all the comments and everything, and this was right up there at the top. Dior Noir. Perfect. Really, we could just stop the video now, I feel like, but we'll keep going. Lad Gallant is up next, who says, Polo Cologne Intense. It takes that classic scent profile of the original Polo and modernizes it and makes it more grown man-ish instead of old man-ish. Fantastic year-round scent. Don't say that around some people, you know, we'll come at you. Some of those Polo die-harders. I don't think that's a thing. I do like Polo? I don't think that's, I do like Polo Cologne Intense a lot. And like you say, nice year-round fragrance. It's green, it's fresh, more modern than the original Polo. Definitely not as heavy as the original Polo, not as woody, you know, doesn't really have that leathery aspect to it. Instead, much fresher, greener in a way, brighter, and yeah, definitely more modern. Jingle Dubs, $39.89, making another appearance, says, Lalique Encre Noir. Elixir is my choice. After much pondering, this was a tough one. Now, this is interesting to me because a lot of these fragrances that I'm gonna feature were mentioned over and over and over and over again. A lot of times with these lists that you guys kind of curate, when you go through and look at all the different fragrances that were submitted, there's a big wide range, a whole bunch of different things. With this one, maybe more so than any one that I've done here this whole year, I feel like, had a lot of consistent answers. The same thing brought up numerous times. And this one right here was brought up a bunch, which is kind of interesting to me because sometimes I feel like, well, that's got a solid click, doesn't it? Sometimes I feel like, you know, the Encre Noir heyday is past us. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that Encre Noir in all of its shapes, forms, facets, flankers is any worse today than it ever has been, because I think still that Encre Noir, the Encre Noir line, has some of the best bang for your buck fragrances that you can buy. I still think that. But still yet, the Encre Noir fragrances do not get spoken about as much as they used to. Maybe don't get spoken about as much as they should sometimes. And this one is a great choice. It really is. It is still an amazing, as I said before, bang for your buck, great performance, very good quality. About $26, $27, $28. somewhere around there for this. Crazy when you consider the price versus quality here. It's another woody fragrance, dark, as you would expect. Good amount of vetiver in there. It has an added sort of balsamic edge to it. You have incense in there, you have cypress, just a great scent for fall and winter time. And yeah, I do think it comes across masculine, and it definitely won't be for everybody. But this is a wonderful scent, and I'm glad to see it. Now, this next one was also brought up a bunch. And this one comes to us from Dave Tip 79, who says, I'm really loving Boss Bottled Elixir. Softened some of the edges on Sauvage Elixir. The fragrance is on the absolute border of max masculinity and mass wearability. An inch more in either direction, throw it out of balance. And a few things I'd like to point out here. First off, like I said, Boss Bottled Elixir was mentioned a bunch. Actually, this was mentioned more, from what I could see, than Sauvage Elixir. Yeah, well, spoiler alert, Sauvage Elixir not even in this list today. It wasn't really being mentioned as much as these others, which again caught me by surprise, because it seems like anytime this comes up, you know, masculine fragrances, Sauvage Elixir gets name dropped a bunch, which for good reason, it should. But Boss Bottled Elixir seemed to kind of step in for Sauvage Elixir, because there were a few people that mentioned this one and also Sauvage Elixir, but ultimately went with this over the Sauvage. For me, this is one of the best releases of the year. I think it's extremely well done. As you said, it's wearable, but very masculine at the same time. It harkens back a little bit to masculine fragrances from years gone by, you know, decades gone by really. But again, as you say, it maintains that wearability. So, you know, you can still wear this and fit in, you know, it's not gonna stick out. Because there are some scents here, like maybe your car for some people, or the Encre Noir, or some others that we're gonna talk about, that yes, they're definitely masculine, but maybe some people wouldn't be as comfortable wearing them nowadays. You know, they would maybe come across a little dated or difficult to pull off in lots of situations. This does not have those issues. So Boss Bottled Elixir, awesome release, and I wholeheartedly support it here. Abdella AB1 is up next, who says, I don't like this fragrance, but Tom Ford Tuskin Leather is a harsh leather scent with some fruitiness, which makes it really masculine and a challenging fragrance to wear. I'm not sure how to feel about this. So the fact that you dislike it is gravy. I think everybody can like or dislike whatever they want. That's no harm, no foul whatsoever. You can hate my favorite fragrance in the world, and I'm not gonna fault you for it, because it's, you know, it's everybody's own taste. Don't yuck somebody else's yum, as they say. Now, that being said, do I personally find Tuscan Leather to be a harsh, kind of like bordering unwearable masculine leather? Not really. To be fair, I've smelled a lot of stuff. It's like those insurance commercials. We cover, what is it? We cover a lot of things because we've seen a lot of things, something like that. You'd think with how many times I've seen that commercial, I'd know what they say, but you get what I'm saying if you live in the US anyway. If you don't, you're like, what? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I've smelled a lot of fragrances, and I own a lot of fragrances, and a bunch of those are leather ones. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that I have some leather fragrances that are infinitely more harsh and difficult to wear than this one right here. Like, there are some ultra hardcore freaking masculine leather fragrances that I have where you would smell them and just be like, oh God, it is manly though. It's manly. Oh. Oh. Some of those fragrances, okay, will have you coming back to Tuscan Leather and you'll be like, oh my God, it's so fresh. It's so light and airy. I digress though. Yeah, I can see Tuscan Leather being a masculine scent. I think for some people, you know, that kind of raspberry feel that it has there, that sweetness off the top, would maybe detract slightly from the overall masculinity of the scent profile, but I don't disagree with this one. I think that, especially when we're talking about more well-known, you know, high quality, wearable, but still masculine in general leather fragrances, that this is a really good choice. And it is quite strong. It is quite strong. Really good performance. Frag American Idiot is up next, who says, Antaeus. Oh, I had it turn sideways. It may be difficult to acquire, but it is still on the market. I grabbed a bottle from a grocery store in Reykjavik. It's so beautifully masculine. It's what I imagine Michael Keaton smelled like while he was owning the 80s like a boss with Michelle Pfeiffer on his arm. Michael Keaton's cool. 2 thumbs up for that. It's showtime. So Antaeus, as you said, still on the market. Pretty sure you can still just buy this from Chanel's website. So I don't know that's too difficult to find. Not any more difficult than, a typical Chanel, because they control their distribution. So you can't really easily find these on the gray market, or really ever, at least not for a discount. Ooh, yeah. We've got some florals in here, some animalic notes, got oak moss in here as well. Labdanum, myrrh, quite strong, quite a powerful fragrance. The animalic feel to it, the castoreum in here, gives you that kind of leathery aspect as well. It is gonna be one of those fragrances that, as you said, really reminds you of the 80s. And again, don't say anything about my Drakkar Noir here, okay? This is gonna remind you of the 80s. I think even more than Drakkar, because this one has that, that force behind it. Whereas Drakkar, compared to this, is more reined in. So for younger guys or people that don't have an appreciation for those scents from the early 80s, this is gonna be a bit much for you to pull off. But masculine? Oh yeah, you betcha. Aman Madan says, is that right? Aman Madan? I don't know. 85 says, Terre d'Hermes smells like a strong, mature, confident man. Mr. CEO. A real man is not just a muscular man, but one that is successful in all aspects of masculinity, as seen by the conventional society. Terre d'Hermes is the embodiment of this successful man archetype. What did we just get into just now? I feel like that was a write-up by the brand for the fragrance itself. Mr. CEO, a real man is not just a muscular man, but one that is successful in all aspects of masculinity, as seen by the conventional society. I just wanted a fragrance that smelled manly. I don't know if I'm successful in all aspects of conventional society. Can I still have it though? There you go. I mean, I don't know what else to add to that. So Terre d'Hermes, all aspects of masculinity, not just muscles, okay? You need not apply muscle, man. Great vetiver fragrance. Love the dirty orange in here, that flintiness. Big fan. Andre Balan 8433 says, Dior Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette. No explanation needed. If you smelled it and you love it, I can't put it into words. No explanation needed if you smelled it and you love it. Well, let me smell it. Pretend I've never smelled it before. Ah, I do love it. A little bit different than my vintage bottle, but yeah, it's still good. I don't have too much left in this one, actually. This is another one of those choices where it's like, is it obvious? Yes. Did I expect to see it? Yes. Does it still count? Yes. I mean, it's Fahrenheit. It smells like gas, man. It smells like you poured gas on yourself. Of course it's man. You've been working on your vehicle, on your 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air. You got a little gasoline on yourself. You're wearing your leather jacket. You smell like your Fahrenheit. You manly. I do like it. Like I said, I enjoy this a lot, actually. And I can still remember the first time I smelled this because I did get that big petrol whiff, that gasoline whiff, and I was just like, what in the heck is that? And that was a long time ago, but I can still remember this is one of those fragrances where that really made an impression. Because there are a lot of scents out there where, better or worse, you smell them and you're like, oh, this is good, this is that, this is whatever. But they don't really really leave an impression, Kind of like films as well. There are a lot of films that you can watch and be entertained, but they don't maybe make like a massive impact on you. And then there are the select few that do. And then you're just like, oh my God, and you're like burned into your brain. That's kind of how this was the first time I smelled it, where I immediately knew like, oh, that is different. That is something all its own. Hey, 2545 says, it's Koros. Nothing beats Koros. Sauvage Elixir comes close, but only real men can wear Koros. I told you, Sauvage Elixir, it gets mentioned. It's like, Sauvage Elixir, pretty masculine, but this one's better. It's kind of funny. It's the first time I've seen that really happen to Sauvage Elixir in one of these where you guys are curating it. Woo! Koros is kind of an interesting fragrance. It's another one kind of like Antaeus, where you smell it and you're immediately like, okay, yes, it smells like from the past, right? It doesn't smell modern. It doesn't smell like something that Yves Saint Laurent's gonna come out with nowadays or anybody's gonna come out with nowadays. Sure. And yeah, it would be difficult for a lot of people to wrap their head around wearing this one. I agree. But then at the same time, if you have smelled this fragrance a bunch, especially over the years, it doesn't have that effect, at least not on me, where you smell it and feel like, oh, it's kind of pleasant, I fully am aware that most people would not view it that way, like, guys that are shopping for stuff at Sephora, Macy's, something like that, they're not gonna go for this, but still packs a punch, man. Last but not least, we have Calling Your Bluff 79. Says, once again, Tom Ford. Beau de Jour, old school masculine fougere with a modern twist. Absolutely love the stuff. And I think that Beau de Jour and fragrances of this style, I mean, for a lot of people, that's what you think of as like the quintessential masculine fragrance, a fougere, you know, an aromatic fougere with nice, rich depth to it, you know, a little heavy on the bottom end, that kind of intermingling spiciness mixed with, again, aromatics, woodiness. That's like the quintessential masculine scent. And you know, I think for myself, if I just sat down and thought about like, what is the one type of fragrance that you would point to as like the classy, gentlemanly, masculine scent profile, it would be something like that probably. So there we go. Also want to bring up Eau Sauvage Parfum. That one got brought up a decent amount as well. So I wanted to give a shout out to that. But there we go, 10 masculine fragrances. What you guys think are 10 of the most masculine ones currently on sale. I would say if you're looking for the most modern, like easiest worn of these nowadays, of these 10, it'd probably be the Polo, Boss Bottled, maybe the Terre d'Hermes, and then Beau de Jour and Drakkar Noir. And then the other one's a little bit underneath that, just as far as ease of use. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.